Ready?
Recording in progress.
Mayor and council, we are live.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the February 2nd, 2026 meeting of the Pasadena City Council. Sorry we're a little bit behind. We did take up matters in closed session, and I'll let the city attorney report on that.
There is no reportable action at this time.
Okay. But one of the items we did not take up,
Right. The city council considered in closed session,
is your mic on?
yes,
Okay.
on the special meeting agenda for closed session, items A, B,
Actually, special would be one, would be two. So go ahead.
okay, so special meeting 1, 2,
Sorry. Special meeting 2.
2, items, letters or items?
Yeah,
Okay, so we did not discuss the Regents case. We did not discuss consideration of initiating litigation,
and D, so that would have been 4 and 5.
4 and 5. All other items were discussed with no reportable action at this time.
Thank you. You can see why I had you reported.
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Hampton, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? Everyone rise.
We still need to go.
Right hand over your hearts. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and the clerk reminds me that we are responsible for taking the roll, so, Mr. Clerk?
Councilmember Cole? Present. Councilmember Hampton?
Blessed and honored to be here.
Councilmember Jones?
Here.
Councilmember Lyon?
Here.
Councilmember Madison, you're participating remotely?
I am, Mr. Clerk. I'm participating pursuant to the government code. I'm under the weather, and an employee, a colleague of mine, is also ill with an infectious disease, so I thought it best to participate remotely under the government code as I'm permitted to do.
Under the just cause provision?
Yes, the just cause provision under section 54953.8.3. And Mr. Madison, can you state if anyone over the 18 or over is in the room with you?
No one is with me under or over the age of 18.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Masuda?
Here.
Vice Mayor Rivas?
Here.
And Mayor Gordo?
Here.
There's a quorum of the council present.
Okay, next we'll go to, we have a special presentation, a short presentation from Southern California Gas Company. I think it's information that's may be important, will be important for some residents to understand, involving infrastructure costs.
Yes, I believe it's loading. Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. My name is Lene O'Shields, Public Affairs Manager for SoCalGas here for the City of Pasadena. We recognize the significant emotional and financial impact of the 2025 Los Angeles wildfires have had on residents, businesses, and the community. Many in our communities are still facing real challenges, and we want to acknowledge the resilience and strength shown through the recovery process. SoCalGas is committed to supporting residents and businesses as we rebuild to making the natural gas process as safe, seamless, and stress-free as possible. At this time, I'm particularly proud to announce that we are not charging customers for installing their previously existing natural gas service to their properties. To date, SoCalGas has restored service to more than 15,000 customers in the Eaton and Palisades areas. And today we want to share some available resources and incentives to help our customers through that planning process. I have here with me this afternoon our Senior Planning Manager over our Distribution Planning and Management team to talk a little bit more about the planning process. Curtis?
Awesome. Thank you.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Curtis Frazier, I'm Senior Manager overseeing planning activities for SoCal Gas. Part of the restoration effort, you want to advance that for me? The restoration effort is ensuring that customers understand the process. So to start the process, and I can't believe we're over a year with this, but we're excited about getting our customers back online. One of the efforts that we've done is we've streamlined the process. We made it easy for the customers to request their gas reinstatement. One of the methods in which they can do that, they can go on our socalgas.com//rebuild. And also they have the opportunity or the means to call our toll-free number or call center at 1-800-427-2000. A representative at the call center will take their request. From that point, the request will be assigned to a planning representative. That planning representative, the expectation is to prioritize that request and make contact with the customer within 5 days. It's very important that we receive information from that customer, understand the timeline for the rebuilding, so we can execute their project. All the planning coordination that goes with that is there will be site visits with the customer, also to understand safe meter location, understand excavation, understand the equipment that they're going to have inside their home. We want to properly size that gas line and also that meter for the reinstatement. Another key factor is the customer needs to ensure that they follow and meet all city requirements to rebuild. And part of that process will be when it comes to setting the meter. The meter, we need a house line release from the city, and to send that house line release, there's a couple means to do that. The house line release that we receive that allows the gas meter to be set, it can be sent to our set desk, which is part of the customer contact center. And the contact for that is setdesk@socalgas.com. Also, there's a toll-free number that the customer or the contractor can call and request the meter to be set, setting up the account and providing that house line release. Okay, next.
Mr. Mayor, we have 120 property owners who were directly affected and who are in the process of rebuilding. I'm not sure why we're not giving this information to those 120 property owners rather than taking the time here at the council meeting. They should all directly, personally have this information. We should do everything we can to help the gas company to make that connection, but I'm not sure why we need to know all of this for the 36,000 people who are existing customers.
Well, it's, people were affected in Mr. Hampton's district and Eaton Canyon. I made the determination that this is important. This is an important public service, given the number of properties that were affected by the Eaton fire, period.
Well, I think it's very valuable information. I'm just wondering why we're not giving it directly
Oh, we
to
are,
the people affected.
We are.
And so
I've
if it's
shared
going to
it
people
with-
affected, what's the public service beyond that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why don't we, but, so I think we're wrapping up, but the main, go ahead and
Can
finish.
jump into just some quick energy efficiency incentive information, and then we can wrap up.
Okay, thank you.
SoCal Gas has an energy efficiency fire rebuild, or EEF&R program, and every single family and multifamily home can qualify up to $10,000 in incentives. And this is for energy efficient equipment and construction measures. Our residential account managers can work directly with your customers, with your constituents, or with your builders to try to help identify some of these incentives during the application process. We also have energy efficiency financing. This is financing that's available to homeowners and businesses affected by the wildfires. This is through our Go Green financing. Eligible participants can finance a different range of energy upgrades, including HVAC, windows, cooling roofs, etc. As Curtis was mentioning, we have a dedicated wildfire rebuild support page, www.socalgas.com. www.socalgas.com/rebuild. I have my contact information on the screen, as well as my phone number, as well as Mr. Curtis Fraser's contact number. So if any of those 120 residents or anybody outside of those 120 residents have any questions or concerns, they're able to reach out to us directly.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you for your time. We're dedicated to supporting your communities during this wildfire rebuild process. Thank you very much for your time.
Just one quick question. I was under the impression in terms of cost that, previously, Southern California Gas would bring the new pipe, the new service connection to the meter, but not beyond the meter. And that will be different for this time around?
Thank you, Mayor. The main line that's in the street, that's our main. And the service that supplies gas to the meter, that's the service. So the gas company's responsibility is that main line up to the service line. Beyond the gas meter is the customer's
Right.
property. So we will install all the infrastructure, main and service, and typically in this situation is service, and the gas meter, all that piping and fitting that goes up to the house line, which is the customer's property.
Okay. And any other questions or, Mr. Cole?
Just a comment. I hope that we at MSC can look at what our approach is on the electric side.
Absolutely.
To figure out whether we are being equally responsible and responsive, especially because actually, while people may prefer gas, no one actually needs natural gas. They don't have to reconnect. They can go all electric.
Yeah.
And if they choose to do that, then I think we should be equally responsible and responsive as the gas company is to their customers to make sure that we're making it easy for people who, if they choose to go all electric.
And I think that presentation can be made here as well. And we've had lots of discussions, and try and provide as much information as we can, because it's not just the gas connection that I'm interested here. It's some of the efforts on efficiency, windows and ACs, HVACs, because a lot of people were impacted. I'm one of them. You know, we had to replace windows. We had to replace because of smoke damage. We had to replace insulation. HVAC was affected. So I think it's important for people to hear all of the available resources. So we'll do that as well, Mr. Cole. Okay, with that,
Mayor, we have 4 speaker cards
Okay.
on this item. Okay. 2 minutes.
thank you.
Thank you.
We have Cynthia Kennedy, Sandy Krasner, Rex Mayeres, and then Robert Ha. If you heard me call your name and come to the center, queue up in the center aisle, that would be helpful.
Ms. Cavity, welcome.
I'm going to give everybody 2 minutes and then ring a bell when you have 30 seconds left. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. Our own Public Health Department issued a bulletin last year about the health risks of gas appliances in normal operation, especially risk to children, and it said that the best remedy is to switch to electric appliances. This is our own Public Health Department. This was after both Stanford and Harvard University conducted and published extensive and authoritative studies on health risks, asthma, and cancer from home use of gas appliances. This is not disputed except by SoCalGas and Sempra, its parent company, which in the last 20 years has contributed almost $1 billion in political campaign contributions in order to influence public policy on this issue. It is an affront to the victims of the Eden Fire to have people from SoCalGas here suggesting that they actually should install more gas lines in their homes. We need more information so that people understand what this really is. These are the merchants of doubt. They are the purveyors of pain from victims. These are the people who profit from harm to our citizens. we need to be very clear about fossil fuels. This is the cause of the climate crisis that we face. On the one hand, we as a city have declared a climate emergency. On the other hand, we're talking about doing business with the gas company to help the people. Let us please consider rejecting these kinds of appeals, propaganda, if you will. We need to do everything we can to make sure that people don't subject our children to these kinds of harms. As I speak right now, there are children in apartments that are inhaling nitrogen oxide
Ms. Kennedy?
and other pollutants, and they are suffering
Ms. Kennedy,
from this.
thank you for your comments.
Thank you. Sandy Krasner, followed by Rex Maris, then Robert Ha.
Sir, welcome.
Hello. I think Rob will talk about this more. The funds that they're, for doing the programs they're talking about, I think come from ratepayers, both the gas company and the electric company. We should not be using ratepayer money, or I don't know if there's any Pasadena money involved in this, as incentives to build new gas infrastructure, especially not in the Eaton fire area. For space and water heating, cooking, clothes drying, there are clean electrical appliances that are cheaper and less dangerous than gas, and these will go cleaner as the grid gets cleaner. There's 3 reasons for opposing reinstalling gas. Health is an important one. When gas is burned in the home, it emits nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, particulates that invade the lungs. It also emits unburned methane. These have been associated with increased risk of asthma, other respiratory diseases, as well as possible, not certain, but possible associations with cancer and even autism spectrum disorder. In addition, as homes become better sealed for improved heating and air conditioning efficiency, the venting required to get rid of the gas products is going to become a problem. And as Cynthia mentioned, even the Pasadena Public Health Department has done a study on the health impacts of burning gas in the house. The next one is cost. Building a new or rebuilt home, you're starting from scratch, costs about $6,000 less with a full electric home than with a mixed gas and electric home. The homeowner is going to have to pay for gas lines, meters, plumbing, all that other stuff. There's a whole bunch of cost impacts that essentially, I think if people are building back with gas, somebody should be telling them they're taking money out of their pockets. And then finally, as Cynthia mentioned, climate. When natural gas is burned, it emits carbon dioxide, which is a primary greenhouse gas. About 3% of natural gas leaks between the well and the consumer. That's a very potent.
Mr. Krasner, your
It doesn't
time has
burn.
expired.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Krasner.
Rex Maris. Is Rex Maris here?
Yes,
And
I do.
then Robert Ha.
I'm glad Sandy came before me to explain all those things. I'm more from the emotional side. I lost a house in Altadena, so it's not Pasadena, but we had managed to get solar panels and we're doing things right, and I can't imagine really rebuilding a house that's going to use gas. This is really the time to encourage people to get with the future. It's going to save them money. We got used to an induction stove. It was a good thing. And in any way that the city can encourage the switch, this is the time to do it. Why invest in something that's a dying technology? Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Mr. Ha. Robert Ha.
Sir, welcome.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We heard from the very generous offer from SoCal Gas that they will pay for the infrastructure up to the meter of the house. Sandy just mentioned that there's an additional cost to rebuild with natural gas. He said $6,000 in addition to rebuilding with gas. Actually, when you take into account all the labor for plumbers and all the other infrastructure within the house itself, it's much higher. It's on the order of between $20,000 and $30,000. So that's not an insubstantial cost to bring gas into the house. So as this council well knows, Resolution 9977 declares a climate emergency. Moreover, Pasadena has recognized with past ordinances that long-term citywide greenhouse gas reductions must include electrification of new buildings. Therefore, it seems hypocritical to allow rebuilding with gas in the fire zone. Therefore, in the fire zone, whole house electrification should be the default. So here's a post-Berkeley suggestion for a way to make that happen. Adopt an ordinance to apply cost testing to each rebuild project. Determine which approach is less expensive for the homeowner to build, all electric or dual energy. If the homeowner selects all electric, then in lieu of installing a gas line into the house, the gas company can subsequently pass on its avoided cost to the homeowner as a further incentive to build back all electric. Don't lock in another generation of polluting, climate vulnerable homes.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you.
And just to be clear, this matter is on for information purposes. This is not the city contracting with anyone. The state Public Utilities Commission governs all utilities, including gas and electric. Okay, with that, we'll move on to public comment for matters not on the agenda.
Well, you have a ceremonial,
Oh, we do have one.
and there were 2 letters, actually, there were 4 letters associated with item A, and those were posted online, distributed at the council, or made part of the record for this item. But
Thanks, Mayor. I'd like to adjourn tonight's meeting in honor of Marguerite Bogart, who was born on July 3rd, 1954. She passed away peacefully on January 16th in Arcadia, California. She was born and raised in Pasadena. She attended Washington Elementary and Junior High School and proudly graduated from Pasadena High School. She will be remembered for her strength, generosity, and unwavering love for family and faith. And she is the sister of a friend of the council in Beverly Bogart, who was a longtime City of Pasadena employee. So,
Thank you. And I know Beverly and knew Marguerite and absolutely find it appropriate. And I'll reach out to in writing and make sure the family knows that you made such a motion. So I would join in your request. Okay, thank you. Now we can turn to public comment.
Mr. Mayor, I just have a very brief announcement that we could make at the end, but then no one would be listening. I went today.
We will be.
I went today to the convention center for the, it's called Ashes and Echoes exhibit about survivors of the Eaton Fire, and some very, very moving exhibits about their resilience and their determination to rebuild. The last day of that, the exhibit is tomorrow from 2 to 8 p.m. at our convention center. It's not sponsored by the city, but I was very moved by the quality and immersiveness of the exhibit, and I think that it is worth a visit if people can work that in tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Okay, now public comment for matters not on the agenda.
And we are sitting at a minute and a half. KDE, followed by Margarita Holman, followed by Les Hammer, followed by Professor Michelson, then Rob Mathia. So KDE, if you heard your name, please start to make your way. Margarita Holman.
If you've heard your name, please form a line in the middle aisle.
It's Kate.
Sorry, Kate.
Israel killed at least 36 more people in Gaza this weekend. Mohammed Abed wrote Saturday, "We woke up to another massacre. 12 people burned alive in their sleep. 3 generations, including grandfather Rubi Hamad, Hadaid, his children Mohammed, Hazem, and Hajar, and 3 small grandchildren, Leah, Sham, and Jibril. They'd survived in torn tents after Israel bombed their home, survived starvation, inescapable rain, and winter cold. Then Israel burned them alive. Anyway, in front of 8 billion people. Israel performs these massacres like a dare to the world. Watch us kill children in their sleep. We've bought your politicians. The money and the weapons will keep flowing." and they do. Dr. Yahya Mazid wrote, "In Gaza, death comes not only from bombs, winter cold is a weapon. 12-day-old Haitham Abu Qas died inside a tent, his body unable to survive the freezing temperatures, and a siege that's been allowed to exist longer than he was. With his death, the number of infant hypothermia casualties this winter has risen to 11. Newborns who should be wrapped in warmth and safety are instead wrapped in shrouds. Fuel and blankets are scarce and unaffordable. Desperately needed supplies are not allowed in by Israel, and babies die quietly, painfully, invisibly, because
Kate,
of
your time has
deliberate,
expired.
relentless siege.
Ma'am, your
I
time
hear
is-
you.
We want to be
global
fair to everyone.
and
Thank you.
local
Ma'am,
indifference.
thank you.
Margarita Holman.
Thank you for demonstrating it.
Thank you.
Is Margarita Holman here? Is she online? And then- Okay, we'll move on to Les Hammer, followed by Professor Michelson, then Rob Mathia, then Lucinda Wills, then Randall Heinlam.
Mr. Hammer, welcome.
Les Hammer, Pasadena. Contrary to media reports, illegal immigration is not a civil offense. In 1982, the Supreme Court ruled in the case of INS versus Lopez Mendoza that illegal immigration is a crime. Remaining in the country illegally is a continuing crime. Second, we wouldn't have all of this chaos in American cities if we didn't have sanctuary city policies in places like Pasadena, Los Angeles, and in particular Minneapolis. ICE agents armed with a detainer or removal order cannot take an illegal immigrant from a city or county jail, yet they can take an illegal immigrant from a state prison. As a result, ICE agents are forced to go out in the community to conduct operations, only to be confronted by well-organized, well-funded nonprofit groups. For example, the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights receives $34 million in state money and uses a chunk of that money to fund the Rapid Response Network.
Let's be respectful, please.
You have
Let-
30 seconds, go ahead.
Within minutes of an ICE operation, hundreds of people line up screaming and yelling and blowing whistles. My advice to American citizens who do not want to be arrested during an ICE operation is simple: stay on the sidewalk or stay home.
Hey, that's not appropriate, but please
And
let the
finally,
speaker
according
finish.
to a recent KFI radio report, the Department of Homeland Security begged the New York Times.
Mr. Hammer, your time has expired.
Mr. Hammer, thank you.
Thank you.
Professor Michelson, followed by Rob Mathia, then Lucinda Wills, then Randall Heinlam, then Aaron Scott Walsh.
Professor Michelson.
Good evening. I'm here to talk about divestment and ethical investment. I'm a tenured professor at Pasadena City College and teach civics to foreign students striving to become new American citizens. I would love to be able to tell them that the lovely city of Pasadena, host of the Rose Parade, home to amazing residents, historic neighborhoods, and business districts, is spending tax dollars wisely. But in fact, Pasadena is financially supporting bad actors, investing in a genocide across the world that has killed hundreds and thousands. USA pays, Israel bombs. Just like we can't support ICE occupying our streets, and you cannot allow your police department to be complicit in supporting the ICE Gestapo as they violently attack residents and community advocates that are exposing them. We cannot allow you to invest in harmful surveillance and the military-industrial complex that are occupying and killing innocent people in Palestine and terrorizing the people of Pasadena. Please stop being complicit and take proactive moves to ethical investment and divestment in your city. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Rob Mathia, then Lucinda Wills, then Randall Heinlam, then Aaron Scott Walsh, then Kaveh McNayami, and then Michael Benura.
Sir, welcome. Again, if you heard your name, please line up.
Thank you. I'm Reverend Dr. Rob Mathia, resident of District 1, represented honorably by Councilmember Tyrone Hampton. And I'm here to urge the City Council to act on the processes we have brought before you related to the injustices faced by Palestinians. You've heard over the weeks and months a number of things related to genocide, and the facts have been set forth. But I want to talk a little bit tonight about the apartheid system. When this issue first came on my radar, I started engaging personally in the early 2000s. And in 2007, Jimmy Carter wrote this book, Palestine, Peace, Not Apartheid. And so this incredible world leader, 20 some years ago, if I'm doing my math closely, was already naming this reality. I've been able to travel in Israel and Palestine and see this up close. And as I've learned more about it, we see how what's going on parallels apartheid in South Africa, which they learned from the Jim Crow South. My dad was a student in the South. He was a dark-skinned man from Malaysia in the 1950s, and he experienced Jim Crow South. He experienced what it's like for people not to be served because of the color of their skin. And the same thing is going on for Palestinians today. I saw Palestinians who refused the protection that was provided for Israeli settlers who chopped down their olive trees. We helped the farmers remove the olive branches. We cannot continue to support that.
Mr. Mathia, your time has expired.
Not to ask you for national policy,
sir, thank you.
but we're asking
Sir,
you to
thank
pass
you.
local policy.
Thank you.
Lucinda Wills.
Ms. Wills, welcome.
There are so many global authorities that have analyzed the situation in Palestine and agree that Israel is committing a genocide against the Palestinian people. These include the UN Human Rights Council, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, B'Tselem of Israel, the International Association of Genocide Scholars, not to mention a Wikipedia page listing more than 100 humanitarian and human rights groups accusing Israel of committing genocide in Gaza. These are not passing opinions like we've been hearing in these chambers that ignore proven facts on the ground. These are deeply researched, unbiased looks at the genocide that is taking place before our very eyes. It is genocide, ecocide, scholasticide, herbicide, domicide, meticide, ethnocide, and even livestockicide. It is the wholesale attempt to wipe out an indigenous population with professed intent to do so, and it has been going on for decades, since well before the establishment of Israel in 1948. To add insult to injury, the latest example was just yesterday. Israel has banned the presence of Doctors Without Borders in Gaza, ordering them to leave by the end of February. This will mean many more lives lost in a place pushed beyond collapse. Stop investing in genocide and blood money.
Thank you.
Randall Hine Lamb, followed by Aaron Scott Walsh, then Kaveh Anami, and then Michael Benura. Go ahead,
Sir,
Mr.
welcome.
Lamb.
Thank you. Randall Hine Lamb, represented by Vice Mayor Rivas. Let me introduce you, as my friend has already spoken about in the macro, let me hone down to the micro and introduce you to Ahmed Al-Badan. Ahmed is a friend of mine, the 10-year-old son of Amr and Jamila. The family lives about 10 kilometers from Bethlehem. Ahmed has not attended school since the Israeli military closed it in October of 2023. Last September, Ahmed was playing soccer with friends when he was shot in the leg by an Israeli sniper for no apparent reason. He recovered in hospital but lived in fear of the Israeli soldiers' return. Those fears came true in October and again in December when the army visited their home at 4 a.m. on both occasions to interrogate him. On the second of those occasions, they took away his father for 3 days in the desert, and where they abused him both physically and psychologically. This week I learned that the army arrived again, this time at 2 a.m., and this time taking 10-year-old Ahmed with them. His parents do not know where he is being held or how to provide him with legal representation. Our investments here in Pasadena in companies that profit from the occupation, apartheid, and yes, the genocide of Palestinians must be redirected as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sir.
Aaron Scott Walsh, followed by Kaveh Anami, then Michael Benura, then Renee Gonzalez online, and then maybe Margarita Holman also online.
Good evening. When I say they have killed more people, they've killed more people. Do you know who I'm referring to? Is it ICE or is it Israel? At this point, they're linked. DHS has an office in Israel where American law enforcement are trained. City Council Member Lyons, you're my city council member. You're also my neighbor. I see your family almost every day when we walk to school. I've even met Doug. When I see him, I wonder, what do you tell him to justify your position? And to the rest of the elected officials up there, how do you feel about preschools being gassed in America? Because that's happening here and in Gaza. Same forces, same tactics. Safety is an illusion if injustice goes unanswered. What is going on in America is not separate from what is going on in Gaza. It is the biggest part. Injustice knows no borders when justice grows weak and oppressors grow fearless and untethered, as we see. Mayor Gordo, city council members, please reflect on what part of history you want to be remembered. This is a punishment on repeat, and we are the humans responsible for stopping this. At what point do you say enough, here or in Gaza? Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Kaveh Niami, followed by Michael Bonora, then Renee Gonzalez.
Sir, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Kaveh Niami. I'm speaking on behalf of myself. I'm here to tell you I think it's about time to move this cloud of shame from the city we all love, with disaffiliating from the regime, genocidal, racist regime, who has already killed double of the number of the students from Pasadena Unified School Districts. It's time for you guys to take your job seriously and stop using our tax money to send it to kill children. Mayor Gordo, it's also time for you to take a responsibility on your job and tell your department to stop providing cover for ICE and trying to help out their brothers when they're terrorizing our brothers and sisters in this city. We don't see a difference between you and them. When you're standing by them with your guns, we don't see a difference between you and them because you don't want to. You see them as your brothers,
Sir,
and you see the other people
Sir,
who are getting arrested as just
Sir,
the
if you
people.
can direct your comments to the council, please, thank you.
It's time to take your job seriously. I don't know how you will think that you will be remembered at anything other than these issues. We're waiting to vote. We see your silence is speaking, brother. Your silence is speaking. It tells you, tell everyone where you stand. Do your job.
Thank you, sir.
Michael Bonora. No. And then Renee Gonzalez is online.
Mr. Gonzalez, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Gordo. Good evening, everyone. And want to say first of all that my heart goes to all the advocates in the City Hall chambers and all around the world that advocate for human rights. And these are very difficult times. And so I just wanted to say that before. And so in regards of the solar panel installation that is being explored at libraries, I applaud the city council, but I will once again ask that the language of measure I and J be explored because we have delivered over $1.5 billion of taxpayer money to the school district, and they have failed to install not one penny of green energy solar arrays at our public schools. And I think that this is something that must be evaluated and something that can be of great benefit for our teachers and our communities, since we're actually paying this school bond money. I'm sure that these communities can also benefit from EV charger installations at the public schools, but specifically the teachers who have been underpaid for decades. So this should be a great way to retain teachers, and that is my public comment.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez.
Thank you,
Your
Mr.
time is
Gonzalez.
expired. Margarita Holman, last call. That completes public comment on
Thank
matters
you.
not on the agenda.
Just want to make 2 points clear. One, the Pasadena Police Department does not enforce immigration laws with ICE or anyone else as it relates to the raids. Two, I'm worried that the Pasadena Police Department his sole role is to keep the peace in our community. Keep the peace, whether it's a resident or someone who's not a resident or even a law enforcement officer, if they're violating the law, the Pasadena Police Department is to keep the peace, step in, and stop violations of law on the part of anybody. Now, imagine, if you will, a situation where our Pasadena Police Department isn't out there to protect the peace. You know, I have denounced ICE and the federal government's activity, but the last thing I want is for ICE or anyone else to call in more federal agents. And I've said it before, we are being baited. Let's not allow ourselves to be baited. We're all on the same side on this. As it relates to the situation in the Middle East, this council, I think with the exception of Mr. Cole, who wasn't yet elected, but I know would have voted consistent with this council voted to denounce violence in the Middle East, or frankly anywhere else, and to call for peace. And that's the official position of the city of Pasadena. And we had a large meeting with hundreds of people at the convention center. And that's our official position. So I just want to remind us of those three things. Thank you. Mr. Cole?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I would just ask, I think it's important for us to show respect to our speakers, and I hope that people will show respect to the members of the council when it's each of our turns to speak. It has been our general practice not to respond to public comment on items not on our agenda. That's both because of our general practice, and it's also because by the Brown Act, we are limited in what and how much we can say. But last week, one of my colleagues interjected during public comment a concern he raised specifically regarding Hamas. And so I would ask just for a moment to share my thoughts, because I have remained silent through the many, many weeks that people have come here. We are working.
Mr. Cole, can you do it in 2 minutes?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Yes, I can. We are working toward the Fire and Police Pension Board considering ethical investment policies. And as your appointee to that board, that is my goal, and I've had support from other members of the council to pursue that, and I hope we will be successful. But that is the regular and orderly process which we are embarked upon. What happened on October 7th, 2 years ago, as a result of Hamas's attack on both military and civilian residents of Israel, is unspeakable. And what has happened in reaction to that for well over 2 years from the Israeli government is unspeakable. And just since the ceasefire, more than 500 Palestinians have died, the vast majority of them civilians. Our silence in this forum is not indifference. Our silence in this forum is directing an orderly process to consider the very difficult and challenging issues that we as citizens of the world must face. And I'll conclude with this, Mr. Mayor. On Friday, I represented our city in Montebello at a place you have been often, which is the monument to the victims of the Armenian genocide. And I was asked to speak on behalf of you and our council and what you have said many, many years, which is the goal of never again. What's happening in Gaza and frankly the West Bank, and what's happening in other parts of the world is genocide. And we need to address it. How we address it, reasonable people can and will disagree. But we cannot allow Jewish people in Germany, Armenian people in the Ottoman Empire, or Palestinians in their homeland to be uprooted and have their right to the free and independent realm that we are entitled to, that we adopted in July 4th of 1776. Human rights are universal, and what happens here, what happens there is indivisible. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Okay. And thank you for the reminder that there is a process, and that process is underway. Okay, with that,
just very briefly, I'm gonna be well under two, I'll be under 10 seconds. We did request a ethical investment policy to come back to the council. I know that that was supposed to be talked about in ledge policy at the end of December. The discussion probably already happened. Any report back on that and have that coming to the council would be extremely helpful from what we can do from our vantage point. Those are my comments.
Maybe Mr. Madison can remind us.
I can jump in since it looks like he's stepped away. It's on the agenda tomorrow, so the discussion will continue.
Okay. So it'll be on the agenda tomorrow. Okay, with that, consent, we'll turn to the consent calendar. I'll entertain a sweet motion.
There are speakers on item 4, and then we received correspondence for item 3 and 4. One letter for item 3 expressing concerns with the current EV charging infrastructure and advocating for city staff to include Tesla in the RFP process. And then for 4, 3 letters in support of the staff recommendation and providing comments on the matter. Those letters were distributed to the council, posted online, are part of the record for those 2 items.
Thank you. If we hold the matter with the item 4 that has public speakers, I'll entertain a sweet motion for the remainder of the consent calendar.
I'll move it, Mayor.
Okay.
Second, and I'd also like to make mention that our city is doing all we possibly can to better build out our EV infrastructure. And so item 2, which is a $2 million service, or actually almost $3 million service contract to do just that, is a path forward to getting our EV charging system in a better shape than it is now, which we are in a really good shape, but I think that we can do a lot better. And so I appreciate staff looking into this and doing what we can to make sure that our EV chargers are being used and utilized for our residents that depend on them, and also businesses that depend on them. So thank you.
I appreciate Councilmember Hampton's advocacy on this. I think you've played an important role in making sure that we are moving forward. There was a letter from a resident that I hope will get attention to some of the specific ideas that resident has for making sure that the process has a positive result. So I just want to commend that to staff to address those issues.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. Okay, so holding item 4, roll call. I'm sorry?
Roll call.
Yeah, roll call on the remainder of the consent calendar.
Councilmember Cole?
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton?
Yes.
Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Lyon?
Yes.
Councilmember Madison is stepped away. Councilmember Masuda?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rivas?
Yes.
Mayor Gordo?
Yes.
That motion is approved without opposition.
Thank you.
Want to go to item?
Now we'll turn to item 4. Do we need a presentation, or should we just turn to public comment? Okay, let's turn to public comment.
Cynthia Kennedy, followed by Russell Babbitts, followed by Renee Gonzalez, actually followed by Bert Newton, then Renee Gonzalez.
So if you've heard your name, please form a line in the middle.
2
Good
minutes.
evening
Go
again.
ahead.
Welcome back, Ms. Kennedy.
Thank you. We in Pasadena 100 support this proposal. The staff memo is a very fine memo, full of relevant information. It's really well done. It shows how these 5 sites will really be good pilot projects. We would just like to emphasize that there are 3 compelling reasons to make sure that other projects are urgently initiated and budgeted this year. 1, we can save money. Up to 30% of the total cost with federal ITC credits that are still available if we begin construction before July 4th of this year, or alternatively, if the projects can be placed in service by December 31st of next year. That's a lot of money, so we need to hurry up and get this done. Number two, the optimized strategic plan in Table 19 plans for installations of 4 megawatts of solar on municipal properties by 2028, another 4 megawatts by 2029, and another 12 megawatts on municipal properties by December of 2030. This project is great, but it is less than 1 megawatt. So we love it, it's great, but we have to quickly move ahead and realistically plan the other projects. 3, as much of our country suffers from extreme and unprecedented cold, we know that a long fire season may well come and hit us. I hope not, I pray not, but we face the fierce urgency of now.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. Mr. Newton, welcome.
I thought there was somebody before me.
There was, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So yeah, this is great. Rooftop solar on 5 buildings. I hope we see a lot more of this. We live in extraordinary times. There are a lot of other things that have been mentioned tonight, but the climate emergency is one of those. So we need to see more of these. I'm also wondering if the city could have an outreach to especially condo owners. I live in a 92-unit condo complex. I would love to be able to convince my HOA to put solar on our roofs, and I'm thinking maybe if the city reached out and gave to our and gave them told them the benefits of this financially and otherwise, it would help. Our units are 100% electric, so it would be a really good fit. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Newton. I think that's a great suggestion to contact owners of not just condos, but apartments, and as well as the business community. And I heard earlier one of the speakers say that there may be a savings to solar versus other fuels for the owner for the installation. And so I'd like staff to run that to ground, and that should be made known as well.
Russell Babbas, are you here? Nope. Online?
Hello,
Okay.
yes,
Great. Go ahead. I'll ring a bell when you have 30 seconds left. Go ahead.
thank you. Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to address the council. As an executive committee member of the Sierra Club Pasadena Group, I am very heartened to see item 4 on the agenda tonight. After approval of the OSP in December of last year, PWP has indeed stepped forward on the first important goal to add solar power to city facilities. The positive impact of placing panels on libraries with public visibility cannot be overstated. I understand this relatively small step will allow PWP to better plan for the larger systems that are still necessary to meet the goals of Resolution 9977. The Pasadena group of the Sierra Club looks forward to continued progress by PWP to reach the very admirable goal of a carbon-free future by the end of 2030. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Last speaker is Renee Gonzalez virtually.
Mr. Gonzalez, welcome back.
You're muted. Mr. Gonzalez, there you go.
Sorry, I didn't know. So what I want to add to my comment is that with this green energy technologies are going to come many careers. And as Mayor Gordo stated on the State of the City speech, with the upcoming career technology department at PCC, there's many opportunities to implement EV, electric vehicle charging programs, solar installation programs, and also energy storage programs for new for the graduates at PCC and also PUSD. And we have many sites that are currently vacant at PUSD And so I once again, I would like to see the two governances working together, and also PCC, in the best interest of the community, as this is where the future is leading to, green energy. And so I hope that to see some public hearings between the three governances, and so you guys should consider working together to make the best that we can with this investments. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion, was that the last?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to move approval of item 4 on the agenda, and also like to give a shout out and thanks to PWP and our chair of MSC and the MSC committee, because this is where the work is happening. I always like to tell the residents that it's great to come to council meetings, but a lot of our work and a lot of the major decisions come out of our committee meetings. So I would really encourage you all to make your voice heard at our committee meetings as well. Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. So motion and second, roll call?
To approve the staff recommendation, Councilmember Cole?
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton? Yes. Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Lyon?
Yes.
Councilmember Madison?
Yes.
Councilmember Masuda?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rivas?
Yes.
Mayor Gordo?
Yes.
Motion is approved without opposition.
Okay. Next, we'll move on to
Item 7.
item 7.
This is the old business item related to the.
Okay. There's no staff report here. This is a request from Mr. Madison. Mr. Madison, did you want to make some comments?
Thank you, Mayor. I think I'd prefer to just make a motion at this point. This is here on the Safe Parking Initiative by All Saints Church. And we move to agendize the matter for this evening's for the purpose of my motion to rescind the closure of the public hearing and the denial of the CEQA action that the council took with less than a full council on November 17 to reopen the public hearing and set a continued public hearing for March 2nd, 2026 on All Saints application for a minor conditional use permit number 7318 to establish a safe parking program at 202 North Euclid Avenue from the November 17, 2025 City Council meeting, and direct staff to return with an evaluation and recommendation on any additional relevant CEQA exemptions set forth in the CEQA guidelines and Public Resources Code section 21080.10. And the intent would be that we have a full council sitting in a quasi-judicial capacity at that time to hear the matter. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Madison. I have a couple questions for, Mr. Cole, were you in the queue? No? I have a couple of questions for the city attorney. Is there any mandate, Madam City Attorney, that because we often have council members absent, is there any mandate that any vote of the council needs to be a vote of the full city council?
No, we're not aware of a requirement that it has to be a full council present.
And in terms of, was the CEQA decision under our administrative code a final decision?
The CEQA decision under the
the
municipal code?
Municipal code, thank you.
So there was, with respect to the CEQA exemption, there was a deemed denial determination based on our code.
And what does the deemed denial determination mean?
Well, I'll turn to our Assistant City Attorney, Caroline Monroe, and she may be able to further respond to what the deemed denial aspect means in our code for for the CEQA
Well,
exemption.
let me ask it directly. So a deemed denial is, decision is the result of a 4-4, I'm sorry, a 4-3 vote. In other words, there was no majority. Am I correct about that?
No.
No action.
No
yeah.
action, no 5, we need 5 votes
Right.
for any action.
So it was 4-3, and so
There weren't 5 votes.
and so what's the legal effect of that? It's a deemed denial, and if you can explain what that is.
Certainly, under the municipal code, our provisions apply for actions on appeals. If there is a failure to act, particularly with respect to a failure to act on a CEQA action, a failure to affirmatively approve or certify any CEQA action shall be deemed a denial thereof. A failure to act in any action taken pursuant to CEQA shall be considered a decision that may be called for review or appealed. To answer your question, in the event that there is not 5 votes, the council has not taken action and this provision would apply.
And so, because it's a deemed denial, is a deemed denial determined to be for purposes of our administrative process, deemed to be a final decision?
It's deemed to be a decision that may be reviewed, I believe, by the Superior Court.
Correct, but for administrative purposes, in other words, for purposes of this council, because we hear things for administrative and quasi-judicial purposes through our administrative procedures. So for purposes of a quasi-judicial proceeding, was that deemed a final decision? That is now appealable, I agree with you, to Superior Court. That's the appropriate appeal process, correct?
Well, the decision is, or the failure to take act is considered under our code a decision. There is no further appeal body within the city.
Okay.
So any review would be by the court.
And only by the court?
Yes, if it were to be appealed.
Okay. And that applies to the closure of the public hearing as well?
This is specifically with respect to the CEQA non-action.
Okay. And so, are there any procedures that, in our code that speak to the word of reconsideration or review or rescission of a council's final act?
Mayor, I just want to raise a point of order, which is that you're soliciting legal advice to the city in the face of threatened legal action by the opponents of this project. And I'm concerned that the city hasn't and ought not to waive privilege. As you know, we had a closed session discussion that was privileged and confidential about these matters. I think it's highly inappropriate if one opposes a project to try to solicit legal advice that undermines the city's position.
I don't think it does. Before we vote, I think we should be clear on what we're voting for.
Well, I
So
think
let
we
me
did get advice on all of these issues in closed session.
Let me ask you, Mr. Madison, under what provision of the municipal code are you suggesting that we reopen the public hearing and reconsider a final decision?
Well, I don't believe it was a final decision because the council was not a complete council, as you well know, stuck on a flight and literally in the air and couldn't be there. You were asked to continue the matter until we had a full council vote. This is an opportunity to provide some security and shelter for the unhoused. And I understand that you have your reasons to oppose this project, but it should have been decided by a full council. So I'm simply asking that we reopen the public hearing, have a full council, hear the matter on the merits, and then it won't be a deemed anything. It will be by a vote of the council. It may succeed, it may fail, it may result in some other outcome, but it'll be a process that we can all be proud of.
There was a vote. There was a vote, but again, my question is, under what provision of, I wonder, what provision of the municipal code are you asking us to act, is my question.
And Mayor, if I might, the municipal code provides that the city council follows Robert's Rules of Order. Robert's Rules of Order does allow for rescission or rescinding actions taken by the council. So it's our opinion that that can take place.
Okay. So one of the things that when this comes back that we ought to be clear on is whether Robert's Rules of Order trump CEQA state law and our own policies on how we handle it. But we
And
can,
I'm not saying that.
if it gets the votes.
It trumps that.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
I'm not saying that Robert's rules supersedes state law.
I just think,
Or
we have a
municipal code.
responsibility to ensure everything we do is transparent and adheres to our own policies. That's a legal affirmative duty, and I'm just trying to make sure that we're doing that. And so if this gets 5 votes, I think all of those questions are fair game at a proceeding before us. So with that,
There was a motion, Mayor. I don't think there was a
is
second.
there a second? Okay. Let's not all jump up at one time. So there's a motion and a second. Oh, public comment? Thank you.
There are 25 speaker cards submitted. Are we doing 1 minute? Is that?
This is an initial step, and if, we'll say, because we do have other business, and this is a procedural matter, and so we'll say a minute. Try and keep your comments to a minute. If you go over a little bit, we'll give you some flexibility, but we really do need to try and move the agenda forward.
And Mayor, if I might add, as a reminder, as you mentioned, this is a procedural matter. It is not the substantive discussion. So this is not to get into the merits of the underlying application. It's to decide whether it would be agendized for a public hearing, which will be fully noticed on March 2nd for the purposes mentioned in the motion.
Thank you.
And if this passes tonight, the date that the actual hearing will be on March 2nd, is that
March
what-
2nd at 6 p.m. is
Okay, just wanted to make sure that was clear.
when we'll notice. Angela Strong, followed by Reverend Mark Chase, followed by Sonia Burnt, followed by Erica Tamlin, and then Al Hughes.
I just realized I may be out of town on March 2nd. And so.
Well, we got to have a whole council.
We got to have a whole council, according to Mr. Madison and others, so.
What we need, Mayor, are 5 votes to take an action, but of course, we should accomplish these out of.
You may want to ask the applicant, maybe if they could speak first, if they're here. They were unavailable February 23rd, and they were available March 2nd, and I think the appellants, one or more of their representatives was available March 2nd. So maybe if we could get a signal if March 9th, will we have a full council? March 9th, perhaps?
I
But
believe
as-
I'll be in, on an international trip, so.
Oh, the 9th as well?
No, I think I'll be back by then.
Okay. And the other thing is, under the original teleconference rules, it's possible that a member could participate remotely depending on the circumstances. And as you have mentioned, and Mr. Madison recently mentioned, you don't have to have a full council, but we do need 5 votes for any action.
But I think that's the position of the maker of the motion, and so I want to be respectful of that.
No, Mayor, I clarified that we can't take an action without 5 votes, but,
Yeah. But you said when we have a full council, so.
well, we didn't have a full council, and as a result of that, apparently, we couldn't get 5 votes in either direction.
No, we couldn't get 5 votes because 5 votes, 5 people didn't vote. There were more than 5 people here.
So again, you may want to hear from at least
Yeah,
initially
so-
the applicant and then maybe an appellant representative if they're here.
Sure.
So
Unless you think
let's
you
hear
can
from the
participate
applicant
remotely.
first.
And just state your name so I can remove you from the queue.
Good evening. My name's Erica Tamblin. I want to thank you for your time today. We appreciate it. We also appreciate the work that's been put in by the Housing Department and the Planning Department. I'm a member of the vestry, which is the Board of Directors of All Saints Church, and we're trying to do a good thing, care for people, and provide a safe place for them to sleep in their cars so that they don't amass parking tickets and get their cars towed and impounded, which will end up with them truly being homeless and sleeping in a park. So All Saints continues its support of this project. We very much want to do it, and we look forward to the opportunity for a rehearing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Ma'am, applicant representative,
Oh,
one question?
Are you okay, ma'am, are you okay with March 9th as the hearing date?
Yes, All Saints is fine with March 9th.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it, thank you.
Yes, Stratford Fauble. That's one.
The Maryland's also fine with March 9.
Did you want to do your public comment now?
Sure. Okay.
Good.
So regarding Robert's Rules of Order, no, it does not take precedent of your own code, and your own code says that this decision on November 17th was final and effective. The last time this was here on November 17th, many people presented a list of all the problems we've been experiencing: break-ins, people being beaten by chains, people being pepper sprayed, needles all over. And some of you suggested that wasn't really a problem. Well, later that day, because your meeting ended after midnight, later that day, about 8 hours later, I got the following message from an apartment manager 3 doors up from where the safe parking would be. Here was the message. You can add to the list: homeless hitting guy in face with beer bottle, assault 1 hour ago, 279 North Euclid, 4 cop cars, and an ambulance. That was the same day. So other people here suggested, well,
Sir.
maybe vehicular homeless are not as bad
Sir,
as the homeless. Or am I done?
Your time is up.
I'm
You
sorry.
can submit your
Thank you.
comments.
Could we remind everybody that this is not about
Yeah,
the
this is
substance of
the
the
proce-
issue?
this is a procedure.
Everybody.
You know, I just.
Both speakers have spoken to the substance, and we really need to figure out what we're going to do tonight, which is not decide this issue. We're going to decide in a quasi-judicial public hearing or not.
And I just realized I should probably put this on the record and invite others to do the same. But I did meet with the tenants of the Maryland at the request of Mr. Jones, and have had conversations with congregants and people at All Saints. So both sides have reached out to me, and I've had conversations, but I'm going to make my decision based on what I believe to be the merits.
And Mayor, we met with the residents of the Central District, which included the Montana and
You're right. It wasn't just
residents in Euclid apartments. But yes, we did meet with them, and I have met with representatives from All Saints as well. But I'll base my decision on the merits of the quasi-judicial hearing.
So you're right. It was people from the Civic Center, not just from one building, including business owners, and many of the business and property owners, commercial around here, have reached out to me as well.
So you would state that during the public.
Right,
at
but
the
I just
time of
think,
the public
out of an
hearing.
abundance of caution, I'll state it here as well.
And so if, for the reminder that was just recommended, I did remind a few minutes ago, but I'll try it again this way. The question before the council is whether to approve the motion that's before you or not, to have a reopened and continued public hearing and the other actions that are taken. So that's really the crux of what the council has to decide today.
Yeah, we're not deciding the matter on the merits. We're simply deciding a procedural question. Okay.
So I'm going to go back to the order that the cards were submitted and start to call names. If you hear your name, you can line up down the center aisle. Angela Strong, Reverend Mark Chase, Sonia Burnt, Al Hughes, and Sharon Richter.
So if you could form a line, and
Angela Strong?
And if you can limit your comments to whether or not you support.
So hello, my name is Angela Strong, and I think as we can see from just the amount of speaker cards that were put in for this issue, there is definitely an interest from the public on this matter and being able to speak on this matter before the council. Both sides should have the ability to be able to present their comments. The safe parking, so this should definitely go before the council to have more public comment.
Thank you. Reverend Mark Chase, followed by Sonia Burnt, then Al Hughes, then Sharon Richter.
Well, good evening, council. Now I have to change my comment because I prepared for the substance, but now it's a procedural question. I'm not a student of the law, but I did go to seminary right here at Fuller Theological Seminary. And as a reverend and as someone who preaches quite often, there is a clear parallel between the law and scripture. I never advise people to think about what a text says. I always advise people to think about what they're looking for when they get to a text. Because just like the law, the scripture has to be interpreted. So council, as you consider whether to take this matter further as a procedural question, it's not a matter of simply looking at the law and saying, what does it say? It's a matter of interpreting the law and saying, what is our mission and what is our task? And so as the council, your task is to serve the people of Pasadena, which safe parking will do. So you can interpret Robert's Rules of Order, you can interpret all of these procedural measures towards that outcome. That's not what I was prepared to say, but I think there's a clear parallel. So it's up to you.
Sonia Burnt, followed by Al Hughes, followed by Sharon Richter, followed by Cliff Wampler, and then Susan Lee.
Ms. Burnt, welcome.
Last November, 3 of you blocked the proposed safe parking program on the All Saints property by failing to approve the CEQA determination adjudicated below. You wouldn't even allow the matter to be continued to a date when all council members could be present. This was an example of the worst kind of politics. The failure to approve the minor CUP last November can expose the city to costly litigation by the applicants, and one has already said they're going to do it. This is because there was no substantial evidence, no relevant evidence whatsoever against the adjudicated CEQA determination. There was substantial evidence in favor of the CEQA determination. The concerns and comments of the mayor and 2 council members had nothing to do with the CEQA determination. The appeals were fully adjudicated below, including the CEQA determination. 3 of you engaged in procedural maneuvers to circumvent the law. This is cause for granting a petition for writ of mandate against the city. You have a chance to correct your errors now. I cannot believe that you don't want to avoid litigation by going back and following the law. Thank you.
Al Hughes, followed by Sharon Richter, followed by Cliff Wampler, then Suzanne Lee.
Thank you, council. Yes, you have a decision to make here from All Saints Church. It's just so simple. The parking we utilize on Saturday, we use it for funerals. Obviously, we need it there. Sundays, we need it for church. The parking lot is unused at other times, except that it provides parking for this council and the city hall and for the courthouse. It just seems to make sense that this is a need in the community, so we would appreciate you allowing this to continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sharon Richter, followed by Cliff Wampler, then Suzanne Lee, then Rabbi Joshua Levine Grader.
I'm Pat
Pastor Sharon Richter from Trinity Lutheran Church. We operate safe parking in Pasadena. I would like to suggest that several of you have mentioned that you met with the apartments and condo owners and the various people, and that you have also met with All Saints. But none of you have come to meet the actual constituents that matter here. Mr. Jones, you were invited to come and meet with the safe parkers, but you have not done so. Now, I believe Ms. Rivas has met some of them, but not in association with actually this question. Come and meet our safe parkers tomorrow at 3:30, or rather 4 o'clock at our church, and talk to some of them, because those are the people that this program would serve. And then you can make your decision.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Cliff Wampler, followed by Suzanne Lee, then Rabbi Joshua Levine Greater, then John Pelzer.
Thank you, Council. I'm Cliff Wampler, Safe Parker at Trinity. I welcome the normalcy in the community that this program has provided me. And in that sense, I would like to extend an invitation to anyone from council or their representative to come spend the night with me in my car, my 1999 Toyota Camry. I ask that you bring your own water bottle and earplugs if you snore. I'm conversant on all matters about restaurants in Pasadena and movies from the 1950s. So I'd like to extend that, and I appreciate what you're doing in considering this, and also to the tenants at the condos or apartments by All Saints, I extend the same invitation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Suzanne Lee, followed by Joshua Levine Greater, then John Pelzer, then John Amirkan.
Hello, I'd like to thank you and look forward to seeing you all on the 9th when the whole council is here to discuss the safe parking program. As a former safe parker, I'll see you on the 9th.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Joshua Levine Greater, Friends Indeed. I'll do the same. I look forward to coming on the 9th and hopefully getting to address this topic. I'll just say from what I've heard that it's very important that you distinguish between people experiencing homelessness and what might happen on the streets from the people in safe parking, who might even be in and around the safe parking, but don't jump to conclusions that those are the people that are engaged in the things that you're hearing. So I'll see you on the 9th. Thank you.
John Pelzer, followed by John American, then Randall Hine Lamb, then Jeffrey Galat.
My name is John Pelzer, and first of all, I would like to thank those council members who have been trying to bring safe parking back to All Saints Pasadena. As a Sheriff Hope volunteer, I have worked with its safe park locations at Glassell Park and Westlake since they opened 4 years ago. So I know how important these programs are to the people of Pasadena who have no other option but to sleep in their cars. Not only do these sites offer a safe night's sleep, restroom access, and a meal, they give dignity to our unhoused neighbors who share the universal goal of a better life for themselves and their families. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. John American, followed by Randall Hine Lamb, then Jeffrey Galat, then Mel Tilkerton. Sorry.
Hi, my name is John Amercon, and I'd just like to thank the city of Pasadena for having a city council meeting and letting people speak. I understand that tonight is not about the merits of what we're talking about, but the procedure. I beg on your hearts to just consider this. People are people. They are homeless. In a parking lot in a church right down the street, you not only provide safe parking, which is safer for the community, but a path to housing and case management. If you do not provide this, or a vote isn't provided for it, then people are forced to live on the streets, which does provide danger to the community. So to me, it seems obvious. Please open your hearts, do everything you can to move this procedure forward. Thank you very much, and thank you to All Saints, and thank you to Mel at Shower of Hope. Thank you.
Thank you. Randall Hine Lamb, then Jeffrey Galat, then Mel Tillerkerton, and then Professor Michelson, and then Kaveh Nieni.
Randall Hindheim, Lamb, District 5.
Welcome back, sir.
Member of All Saints. Thank you very much. I speak in favor of bringing this back to the city council. As a resident and homeowner of Pasadena for many years, I can tell you there are many times when on my street, in Jess Rivas's district, I have homeless people sleeping in their cars. And that doesn't bother me. That's what bothers me actually is that they don't have a safer place because they are really at risk there, not me. And so I strongly encourage this council to take this matter up and to approve the zoning variance. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So Jeffrey Galat, then Mel Tiller-Kitten, then Professor Michelson, then Kavaniemi.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Jeffrey Galat, and I'm here tonight to speak in favor of the safe parking program at All Saints Church. I'm a veteran, and I feel that I am on the verge of homelessness. Veterans comprise 13% of the homeless population, despite being only 7% of the total population. Roughly 1.5 million veterans are considered to be at risk for homelessness. We need this program and all programs serving unhoused people up and running as soon as possible. Please do not put any further barriers in the way of the safe parking program. The longer we delay this program, the more veterans and others experience homelessness have to suffer. We veterans deserve help. We stepped up to sacrifice for the country. Now I am asking the city to not stand in the way of those who want to help us. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry, could you say your last name? I keep on messing it up.
Mel Tilakaratna.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Mayor, council members, I want to thank Councilmember Steve Madison for fighting to bring this back to the floor. I want to thank Councilmember Rivas, Leon, Cole, and Masuda for supporting to bring this in. As was shown by the appellant, the whole hearing wasn't based on environmental issues, it was based on security issues. That is a Brown Act violation. That's a violation that even the mayor and a couple of council members took part in to deny this program. So again, I ask all the council members to give this a fair chance. Give the people who are suffering in their cars a fair chance in Pasadena. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Professor Michelson, then Kavaniemi, then Nancy Schmider, then Bert Newton, then Francis Hale.
Hello again. I teach civic participation at Pasadena City College. At this point, this is about good governance and rectifying bad governance. Since this body follows Robert's rules, it behooves this body to follow Robert's rules and vote on whether to rescind the action taken previously, apparently inappropriately. So it is well within the rights of this council to do things right this time. I hope you vote yes to do it again properly, and also recognize that the number of speakers today are in favor of this, so I hope you do your duty to follow what the community is asking. Thank you.
Thank you. Kavaniemi, followed by Nancy Schmider, then Bert Newton, then Francis Hale, then Stan F.
I'm speaking on behalf of my organization for the people of Los Angeles. Some of us have like 12 years of experience with working with unhoused population weekly. We haven't
I'm
missed a
sorry,
week.
what was your organization, sir?
For the people of Los Angeles.
Okay, thank you.
I just wanted to make sure that we're looking at it as the right direction, that this is a chance, this is what we're offering, a solution to the problem that they're actually bringing up to the table. This is giving a chance to people to, unhoused population not going to go away. So that is there. People will fall into mental health breakdowns and will have other issues when they have no support. So this is a temporary and limited support so people can stay on their feet. They can still have a car that they can drive and get a job, and hopefully they can not end up with being another tent. So those are the options. The option is we allow people, giving them one more chance, or just expect another tent on the corner of the street. I hope you do the right thing and we come back on, March 9th and we can do this correctly.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Nancy Schneider, followed by Bert Newton, then Francis Hale, then Stan F., then Joe Valdez.
Hi, my name is Nancy Schmieder, and I am the Congregational President at Trinity Lutheran Church.
May I interrupt you real quick? Sir, I do have an announcement to make before you leave or others leave, and I apologize for the confusion. I was incorrect about the date that I'm out of town. It was actually April 2nd and 3rd. I just confirmed that with my family. And so if March 2nd works for everyone, or March 9th, whatever the preference of the parties is, I will be here. I just wanted to say that before the gentleman left. Okay.
Yes, and so
You get
I'm the
to start over.
Congregational.
You get to start over, yeah.
Okay. My name is Nancy Schmieder, and I am the Congregational President at Trinity Lutheran Church, where we hold the Safe Parking Program. I understand that this time is not to debate the merits of the safe parking programs, but you can see by how many people are coming forward that there's a lot of comments about this. But one thing I want to say is that I keep on hearing some mistruths by the people who are opposed to the program. And I do know there's a lot of concerns, and I think it's important that all viewpoints are heard and that we can address those in a full way. And so I think that means that we need to have another time together, whether that's on the 2nd or the 9th, is fine with me.
Thank you.
Oh, one other thing, we have a fellowship time with the Safe Parkers for the community, every first Tuesday of the month. Everyone is welcome, so you can actually get to know people.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bert Newton, followed by Francis Hale, then Stan F., then Joe Valdez, then Silvio N.
Mr. Newton, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. And that fellowship is at 4:00, so tomorrow. I don't mean this with any disrespect. I was at the quasi-judicial hearing in November, and that was very strange. I have been to a ton of city council meetings over the last 25 years, and I don't think I've ever heard anything not exempt from CEQA. It's often the first thing on any agenda item, and it's not even controversial. Maybe I'm forgetting something, maybe I don't know about something, but so it seems just for that reason it should be reopened. And I understand that there's a state law that says that you can't not exempt programs for the unhoused from CEQA. Also, and just want to let everybody know, this is the low-hanging fruit of solutions for unhoused population. This is a population that does not cause problems. The problems they were talking about earlier are not caused by unhoused people. So, I mean, by safe parkers.
Mr. Newton,
so,
your time
anyway,
has expired.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Francis Hale, followed by Stan F., then Joe Valdez, then Silvio N., then Savannah Dale.
Hello, everyone. My name is Frances Hale. I am the treasurer at Trinity Lutheran Church. I volunteer my time. As you can imagine, it's a lot of time. We receive no funds for safe parking. We all volunteer our time and our talents and our passion. And the fact that there's so many misunderstandings about what safe parking is makes it clear that the conversation needs to continue. Safe parkers are in their cars overnight. They have jobs. They are in programs where they're doing housing navigation. I also work for another nonprofit, but housing navigation is complicated. By being in that program, they have a safe place to stay. They have someone working with them to actively seek housing and stabilize and make sure they have the employment to stay housed, which is the solution we should seek and we should all want. They're not out in the streets. They're in their car sleeping because they've got to get up and go to work in the morning. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Stan F., followed by Joe Valdez, then Silvio N., then Savannah Dale, then Haley Block.
Welcome.
I'm Stan F., but it stands for Farrar, which is spelled F-A-R-R-A-R. I'm a resident of District 3 and a director of a homeowners association with 28 residential units. Like Reverend Chase, I came thinking that I would talk about substance, but I'm not going to. I want to say two things. One is, I don't want to thank a subset of you all. It's my first meeting, even though I lived in Pasadena for longer. I want to thank all of you for what is an incredible job. I practiced mergers and acquisitions law for 50 years. I don't think I could sit in here for one night in your position, okay? Secondly, I'm not a municipal lawyer and I never want to be, but this can't be the first time the CEQA issue ever came up. I hope you don't have to spend taxpayer dollars going to Superior Court to defend a controversial issue that's based on emotion and not on law. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Joe Valdez, followed by Silvio N.
Mr. Valdez, welcome.
Then Haley Block, then Sean Morrissey, and then back to Savannah Dale, who's a virtual. Go ahead.
Yes, hello. Good evening. My name is Joe Valdez, and I'm a former Safe Parker. And I just wanted to just share a little bit of my testimony. If it wasn't for the Safe Parking program, I don't know where I would be. I'm just very grateful, and I was invited to come and speak. And I live down the street here at Centennial Place, and I'm just grateful. I went from the Safe Parking program to Centennial Place. Now I'm housed there, and I got Section 8 housing now. So I'm actively looking, and I'm just grateful. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening. I'm Silvio Nardoni, and I don't think I'm looking at a lawless group, but here's the things that I've heard tonight. One, there was a very long discussion about this matter. To say we didn't have a full hearing back on November 17th, sorry, it was here after midnight. But now the law that you must obey and follow is your own municipal code. The only thing that's been cited that might affect the ability of the council to rescind its closing of that hearing is Robert's Rules of Order. Those rules can never overrule the municipal code. The California Attorney General has given an opinion number 83-311, that says that Robert's Rules of Orders can never overrule the municipal code. If you take action tonight, you're acting lawlessly.
Sir, can you forward that citation for the council members, to all council members?
Haley Block.
Hi, good evening. My name is Haley Block, and I'm speaking on behalf of the San Gabriel Valley Consortium on Homelessness in strong support of the Safe Parking Program. Our executive director, Scott Chamberlain, is both a Pasadena resident and a pastor, and through his work, he has firsthand seen how many people in our communities are vehicularly homeless. Many of them are working neighbors, seniors, or people with disabilities who lost their housing and are doing everything they can to stay afloat. For many, their vehicle is their last asset and their only shelter. Across Los Angeles County, safe parking has shown real success, especially for the working poor and seniors, and serves as an effective form of prevention and interim housing. We fully support this program, and we urge you to continue supporting and expanding safe parking and similar efforts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sean Morrissey.
Good evening, Council. Sean Morrissey with Union Station Homeless Services. A bit of this is about merit because I think this is important. We're already seeing early indicators of increased homelessness across Los Angeles County, and waiting will only make the response more costly, disruptive, and urgent later. Union Station supports exploring any and all safe parking and other stopgap emergency sheltering solutions as part of a balanced response, and that includes the re-review in question tonight. We encourage the city to move forward with this with urgency and fairness to resolve the issue, to get in front of what we know is coming. Thank you for your leadership and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morrissey.
Savannah Dale, who's participating virtually.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to speak in strong support of the safe parking program. From my understanding, last time this went through, there was a council member not there, and that really doesn't seem like a fair shot. It doesn't seem like a full hearing, and I think if we're just talking procedures, this deserves another shot with everybody present, right? People are falling off a cliff, and it's important to give this matter the respect it's due with everyone present, everyone voting on the matter, and everyone can speak. Thank you.
Thank you. And the only other thing to report regarding correspondence, City Clerk's Office received 5 letters in support of allowing the safe parking program at All Saints Church, with 1 letter with 23 signatures in support of All Saints Church, and 1 letter providing in opposition to the matter, which was distributed to the City Council, posted online as part of the record for this item. That's it, Mayor.
Okay. There is One final procedural question for the city attorney. We're still within the appeal period of the applicant being able to
seek
appeal.
review in court?
In court or,
When you say appeal period?
yeah, in court.
To go to court and challenge the council's November
Mhm.
decision.
Mhm.
It appears that way.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, with that,
Mayor, I just wanted to clarify, just for the record. One is that the meeting that you and I attended with the Central District residents was just my weekly neighborhood meeting. It wasn't to discuss the safe parking issues, discuss neighborhood issues. And I don't even recall safe parking even coming up. It was just talking about crime and traffic within the area of the Central District. And the meeting with the All Saints rep, similar thing. I believe it was specified that we was not going to discuss safe parking. And then my question for the city attorney is, I know Robert's Rules of Order is in our municipal code, but does that override the code?
Well, it doesn't override zoning provisions to the extent that they conflict, but it is part of our code.
yeah, the question is preemption and when there's a conflict.
Right.
You know.
And we would analyze that and address that as needed.
Yeah. Mhm. I think we should. Mr. Hampton, followed by Mr. Cole.
I want to thank everybody for being here and also for this whole night discussion. I think this is how good governance works, and people ask for things and we bring it back. In this case, based on opinions from, and even dialogue here from our city attorney's office, I think it sets a rocky precedent. I don't want to say dangerous. I just want to say rocky, that it could open up any hearing. And for that reason, I will be voting in as an abstention because I don't want to vote in. I don't want to vote in favor or against something that may have a significant legal implication to the city. But I do want to let everybody know that when we hear this hearing again, I will, just like I did the first time I hear it, I will hear it with an open mind to all aspects, and I will listen to the testimony again as if I'd never heard it before. So those are my comments, and I know that there will be a vote soon. I don't want to belabor that.
Thank you. Mr. Cole?
I appreciate my colleagues' comments, and I would echo them. Between the 8 of us, including Mr. Madison online, we have 89 years serving as a member of this body. And over the course of that nearly 9 decades of experience, each of us has had to make hard decisions, both politically and personally hard decisions, but also just difficult to know what the right path is. But there's a fundamental difference between a quasi-judicial hearing and what we think we personally would like the outcome to be. We are obligated, as Mr. Hampton has just pointed out, to listen objectively. And I look forward to doing that. And this is a rocky road, but it, at 11:30 at night, we took some votes that maybe could have been postponed. They weren't. Now we're here, and I will support the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Cole. I too will listen intently as I did the first time around. But I do think, as Mr. Hampton puts it, this is a slippery slope in how the council and the city does business. If people believe that and rely upon a decision that's supposed to be final under our rules, and then we reverse it, we have to question from a policy perspective, not just a legal matter, whether that's what we want to do. And, one question would be, are there other CUPs that people will now ask to reopen because they weren't here? or the people who didn't get their way in the other CUP, maybe will come and petition members of the council and say, I'd like to have a second bite at that apple. And that's what I think is the procedural question that's before us today. And so for that reason, I'm not going to support the motion because I do think we have to have certainty and transparency in our votes, in our procedure, and adhering to our policy. And I don't think, the absence of one council member who knew this was going to be on the agenda and could have requested, as often is done by many of you and Mr. Madison included, that the matter be held, that, that we hold it for a later time. That didn't happen. And so, again, I don't think we should change standards, rules, midway through a process, and that's the problem that I'm having with this, so I can't support the motion. Mr. Lyon, Jones, followed by Mr. Lyon, then Mr. Madison.
I think, Councilmember Cole put it well, and so did my colleagues, Mr. Hampton and the mayor. It seems like there's some legal exposure, and I just didn't get a clear answer on the municipal code, and so I can't support the motion. However, I intend to, if this motion does pass, I intend to listen and participate fully in the quasi-judicial hearing, hear it on the merits, and make my decision based on that.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Lyon?
Thank you, Mayor. I trust that all of us will approach, if we vote to reopen the hearing, we'll approach that hearing with an open mind and listen in the continued public hearing, and take whatever new evidence we have in addition to the evidence we had before. I do want to, in the interest of having a clean record, I think in response to my colleague, Mr. Jones, there's clearly exposure to litigation here, as every party on every side has said they're going to sue us no matter what we do. So that leaves it to us to do what we think is right, both under our code and morally. Luckily, those two things go together in this case. I do want to correct one misstatement from the mayor, which is the mayor said this is a final decision under our code. I want to be clear that that is not what the city attorney has said. Either city attorney, both said it's deemed decided on the CEQA question. It's not a final decision under our code, and our code allows for rescission through Robert's rules and a couple of other ways. Don't, please. So this is proper under our code, and so now we'll go back. And frankly, I thought the bad precedent was set in making a CEQA decision that relied on no substantial evidence, indeed no evidence at all, when we voted not to make the CEQA finding. So I will be voting yes on the motion.
Just for the record, I clarified with the city attorney that a deemed approved, that a 4-3 vote result in a deemed approved.
Deemed denied.
Deemed denied, thank you. Deemed denied determination, and a deemed denied determination is, maybe I misunderstood the city attorney, but is final under the code. Am I correct about that, Madam City Attorney?
Mayor, this gets us back to the matter we had in closed session. So this is a question for closed session, Mayor.
I was asking questions related to the code. Unfortunately, Mr. Madison put in the record the nature of our closed session discussion. I don't think we should repeat that. I was asking directly about the code.
Right, so just be mindful of our fiduciary duty here.
So, yes, and I was being mindful. I was asking clarifying questions related to the code. Unfortunately, it was disclosed by another member of the council, the nature of our closed session discussion. So, with that, Mr.
Is there anything in our code that says that a deemed denial is a final decision? Is there a provision that says that language?
No, I don't think that is actually the language in the code.
What is the language in the code? I understood that
Assistant City Attorney Monroy read it.
Yeah, that's correct. The phrase quoted by Councilmember Lyon is not included in our code. I can reread 1772-070.
Please.
Okay.
Because if I misunderstood, I want,
Sure. I'll just repeat the section I read earlier. A failure to affirmatively approve or certify any CEQA action shall be deemed a denial thereof. A failure to act in any action taken pursuant to CEQA shall be considered a decision and may be called for review or appealed.
maybe called for review or appeal by whom and where? Hold on, by whom and where? By whom and where?
That's where the code ends.
But.
That's it. So,
Why it
Mayor,
requires us to interpret it.
Mayor, I think it's subject to interpretation, and we will interpret it as
Okay.
appropriate if
Okay.
needed to.
Because every other final decision,
Word final is nowhere in the code, Mayor.
inappropriate, I'm sorry, deemed denied, I believe is, and, but we'll let the city attorney do some more work on that. And every other CEQA determination that I've been a part of for the length of time Mr. Cole described has been appealed not to the city council once the city council acts, but to Superior Court. That's the appropriate process. Okay, and I believe that's what the code. Mr. Madison?
Thank you, Mayor. This is really not a good look for us. First of all, Mayor, I did not introduce privileged and confidential information. I merely alluded to, frankly, what the agenda states about the nature of the closed session. And I did so in response to your trying to argue the case and solicit legal advice. As the mayor of the city, you should know, and an attorney yourself, you should know that the city has not waived attorney-client privilege. We get privileged advice, especially in the face of threats from all sides of litigation. As fiduciaries, we get legal advice from the city attorney or outside counsel in the confidential setting of a closed session. So those comments are frankly disingenuous. And in terms of my ability to request that the matter be continued, that too is fallacious in this matter because, as you well know, it was a very stormy night that night. I was flying in from out of state. I was on an airplane. I had no Wi-Fi. And because of the weather, we flew all the way to Burbank, had not a touch and go exactly, but the next equivalent to a touch and go. We descended all the way down to ground level and then aborted the landing and turned around and went back to our original departure city. So my schedule turned out to be 4 hours or so delayed, more than 4 hours from when I landed. In that entire time, I was on the same airplane, either in the storm. When we landed back at the originating city, we were told we couldn't exit the airplane. They were going to refuel and then head back to Burbank. So it was quite a touchy situation. But the point here is that I watched the tape of the meeting, and there was a request by a colleague to continue the matter to have 5 votes. Something this important should have 5 votes, and you declined that request. So I can't help but feel, and I'm not exactly sure what's driving it, but that there are just any number of procedural moves and maneuvers to try to avoid a hearing where we can obtain 5 votes on this important and frankly compassionate and philanthropic initiative by a faith-based organization. So obviously I intend to support the motion that I've made and look forward to the hearing in March.
Mayor, I request that we call the question. This could be an infinity
Mr.
loop.
Madison, just to clarify the record, I did not make a decision to deny anything. The council voted. 7 of the members of the city council voted. And so we could spend a lot of time on your comments, but I'll spare us the retort until we come back.
And so for clarification, Mayor, you mentioned March 2nd was again Okay, so
Yes.
the motion is
March 2nd?
Okay.
Are we agreed?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we've already elicited the consent of the applicant for March 9th.
But they're here and they're saying
I'm
it's
okay either way.
also.
Yeah, I'm okay.
The second.
Well, you have to judge the record, Madam City Attorney. It seems that all the speakers indicated they'd be here on March 9th, and so it seems confusing to me now to double that. I don't know why we went through that whole thing, but I defer to the city attorney.
I'm okay either way.
I think we should just pick the 9th because it's already been notified and everybody's aware of the 9th.
So is that the amendment
God
to the
willing,
motion,
I'll be here.
Mr. Madison?
Yes, I'm fine with that.
March 9th, 2026 at 6 PM. So approve the motion with the date of public hearing set for March 9th, 2026 at 6 PM. It was moved by Mr. Madison, seconded by Mr. Masuda. Roll call.
And can you confirm with the seconder that amendment, if that's what it is?
Mr. Masuda, is that okay with you? Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Roll call, Mayor.
Roll call.
Councilmember Cole on the motion?
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton?
I abstain.
Abstain. Councilmember Jones?
No.
Councilmember Lyon?
Yes.
Councilmember Madison?
Yes.
Councilmember Masuda?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rivas?
Yes.
Mayor Gordo?
Yes.
Motion is approved, 6 in favor, 1 no, 1 abstention.
And another clarification, Mr. Madison, I actually read our policies and procedures and all of the questions that were being asked long before last night's closed session and certainly before the city attorney. And I asked those questions of staff. And so you're incorrect that, somehow I revealed information because I did that work and asked those questions long ago.
Well, Mayor, we didn't have a closed session last night, and
I'm sorry, tonight.
any legal advice you solicit from the city attorney is privileged and confidential, and you don't have the right.
Gentlemen, we're on the next item.
Again,
Well,
Mr.
no, you
Madison.
can't make a comment like that.
Sure I can, I just did. I
And
said,
not-
I did it myself.
You are not authorized to waive privilege on
I
behalf
did
of
not.
the Mayor.
I did not. Thank you, Mr. Madison.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank everybody. for
Item
going to the
8.
next
Okay,
item.
next item, item 8. We'll get there. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and participation. We'll see you on March 9th.
Thank you for your support, Mayor.
You voted yes.
Oh, did I vote yes? Oh, I didn't intend to. Well, I'll say, I did not intend to vote yes, but, I did, and so that's,
Hopefully, I won't
That's
say
fine.
anything. I won't say anything further.
it was a little confusing, but can we make a motion to reconsider and? Oh, can we do that? No? I guess my vote
Yes,
is
we can.
final.
We could absolutely.
You're supposed to do it when no one's left the room and kind of everybody left the room.
Yeah, I certainly think if you'd like to change your vote, you can change your
I
vote.
would,
We were all a little taken aback.
yeah. Well, I am now, too, so thank you for, it was a little confusing. I was, so if I could just.
You can just let the record reflect.
Yeah, let the record reflect.
Your vote was yes, but you intended to vote
So
no.
does that mean my vote is final?
Yes.
Deemed approved.
Or is it deemed final? I want to agendize for next week. Okay,
Please.
so if you can let the record reflect
The record will reflect that
That
you
I-
meant to vote no.
that I did not like the outcome and would like to change my vote. Okay,
Item 8.
item 8.
I don't believe there's a staff report for this one, Mayor.
Oh, yes. Do you have the record?
I think that staff might be able to provide
Okay,
it.
so we had our first meeting of the Homeless Housing and Planning Committee this past Friday. Thank you to all who attended and participated. And we have a recommendation that was not in our agenda as the agenda was printed.
Thursday, and
Thursday.
you had the meeting on Friday,
Right.
so that motion was not part of that record.
Thank you. Ms. Page?
Thank you, Mayor. We don't have the official motion, but I can recap if that's okay, what the discussion was, and the committee members that are there can feel free to add anything that I might be missing. But the direction to staff was to move forward with initiating a code amendment to look at safe parking, to focus on city-owned sites, as well as sites that might be owned by other government agencies that could be eligible, that could be good candidates for safe parking. They could include things like having a more secured area be enclosed, have an area that it could be gated for the safe parking, looking at area that doesn't have an over-concentration of other types of related uses, looking at possibly calls for service in the area as we're finding sites, and also the ability to have a year-round shelter, and to come back and report on some specific sites that the council could approve as part of a future code amendment.
Thank you.
That was a unanimous vote.
Yes. And so the motion passed unanimously, as was stated, and so we'll have that matter returned.
We do have 4 speaker cards on this item. Did you want to?
Thank you. So we'll go with speaker number 1.
Haley Block, followed by Sonia Burnt, followed by Sean Morrissey, followed by Dorothea DeGroot.
Okay.
2 minutes. Did Haley Block leave? Sonia Burnt?
Ms. Burnt? Welcome
Sean
back.
Morrissey, are you here?
No, he left.
Okay. And then Dorothea DeGroot? Go ahead. Okay, so Sonia, I think you're it. 2 minutes, go ahead.
I enthusiastically support safe parking sites wherever they can be located in our city. Safe parking programs for unsheltered folks provides a safe place for sleep and services, and they have proven to be successful in helping unhoused residents get permanent housing. I'm also in favor of the proposed safe parking site on the All Saints Church property and for reopening the hearing. I am concerned, however, at how the subject of safe parking has been treated by some of you on the council. The council needs to stop the delays in getting our unsheltered folks housed. The All Saints proposal has been funded, vetted, and gone through the long approval process. So go forward with that site and also explore other sites on an urgent basis. As the mayor said at the November hearing on the All Saints proposal, quote, "We don't need to declare a homelessness emergency. We see it with our own eyes. Start treating the homelessness problem in our city as the emergency that it is, please."
Thank you, Ms. Burnt.
And confirming Sean Morrissey is not here and Dorothea DeGroot is not here. So that completes public comment on this item.
Great. Okay. Is there,
So by consensus, the information was received?
Oh, I just had one quick comment on that item. I hope that there is a item that EdTech was supposed to see, and that was to look at our motels throughout the city to be potentially turned into housing, temporary or even permanent housing. And so I hope that that is something that will go, I mean, it's supposed to be on your work plan now that this committee has been formed.
Appreciate that.
So I just want to make sure that that's going to be, that's an item that was supposed to come up almost a year ago and just didn't happen. Master Motel Lease Group, yeah.
let's, maybe I'm confusing it with this is the reuse of the motels?
Reuse of motels, but also looking at the funding that the county may have and the state may have to be able to do that.
We're
And
looking at
leveraging the dollars that we have.
Yeah, on the planning side, we're looking at the adaptive reuse piece. We're actually getting ready to go to Planning Commission on that discussion. But we can follow up with the other piece that you mentioned.
Yeah, there's been work done on that by the staff, and when do you think that will go to the Planning Commission?
I'm looking to Jason for the adaptive reuse for the.
Yeah, for the adaptive reuse piece, we already did the study session for Planning Commission, and so we're planning to go for the public hearing portion in March.
Thank you.
The other piece, though, I think is a separate item as far as the funding piece.
No, the adaptive reuse piece came to us. They came to us. No, what I'm talking about is there's funds, or there were funds that I would say the master lease. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll ask staff to look at that. Okay. The staff has been a little, we've all been a little overwhelmed with the fire and ice and everything else that's come up, and so we'll see if we can get that moving again. Okay, with that, next item.
That's item 9. This is the request from the Legislative Policy Committee to adopt a resolution of the City Council related to approving a voluntary fair campaign practices agreement. I'm happy to, I have a PowerPoint that might help, but I would turn to the chair of the Leg Policy if he wants to introduce this item.
Mr. Madison?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mark. Just very quickly, I believe we've reported out on this work previously, but the Fair Campaign Pledge, a voluntary agreement that candidates could sign in Pasadena, pledging to adhere to certain principles of fair play and truthfulness in our local campaigns, and only applicable if all the candidates in a particular race agree, is in need of a tune-up, given the changes in our own election timetable. When the policy was adopted, we had our own municipal elections. Now, of course, we've been consolidated with the county and the general national, state, federal elections, and technology, frankly. The pledge is outdated because it talks about mailings only, and there are other forms of media, as we all know, that are salient in these local races. There was also some concern that persons could sign the pledge but then not adhere to it. And so we've built in some language that provides a mechanism to try to have candidates resolve disputes if they come up about that, or at least give one another notice of it, because the committee felt it wasn't fair that one should be able to sign the agreement and then decide unilaterally that they weren't going to abide by it because they didn't like what the other candidate was doing or saying. So, Mark, can you present the...
Sure.
I would like to say, Mayor, I don't think we need a presentation on this. I'd like to move approval and then, or hear public speakers first.
Okay. Jennifer Thibault, followed by Maria.
Or I could second your approval, Councilmember Madison.
Yeah, no, thank you, Mr. Hampton. As I was just going to say, as the one who initiated this, I'd be happy to second your motion. Thank you.
Okay.
Switch it.
Public comment?
Jennifer Thibault, followed by Maria Castellone, who's on virtually. 2 minutes, go ahead.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Jennifer Thibault, and I am a member of the Commission on the Status of Women. And I am here tonight in my individual capacity as a 30-year resident of the city of Pasadena. Item 9, as Councilmember Madison mentioned, is to approve the Pasadena's Fair Act Campaign Practices Agreement per the recommendation of the Legislative Policy Committee. This action would reform and improve the existing voluntary ethical agreement that candidates sign, and your action tonight is just in the nick of time because candidates will begin filing their paperwork in the next couple of weeks and signing that ethics agreement. Quite a while back, it became to the attention of the Commission on the Status of Women that in the last couple of election cycles, campaign mailers were sent by candidates with a list of supporters that included both the names and the street that those residents lived on, without their express written permission. It may have been inadvertent on the part of those candidates to use residents' names and streets without their permission, and it may have been unintentional. Nevertheless, such actions put vulnerable members of our community in harm's way. I'm speaking specifically of women who are survivors of domestic violence and who do not want their former abusers to have access to their name and the street that they live on. I'm also thinking of members of our community that are undocumented and that for very obvious reasons do not want their names and streets to be publicized. The Commission sent a letter to the City Council asking for action on this issue and reforms to the Candidate Ethics Agreement, and we are grateful that the members of the Legislative Policy Committee took it up and have proposed a revised agreement for your approval tonight. I would ask that you keep these vulnerable residents in mind as you consider your vote to adopt the revisions, and that you, I think, would want to protect these very vulnerable members of our community, women fleeing domestic violence and abusive partners, and members of our community who are undocumented and are feeling extraordinarily threatened in this environment. I can't imagine why you wouldn't support the resolution that's come before you tonight, and so I count on each of you to vote yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You know,
Maria Castellan. She's coming online. There you are.
Oh,
Go ahead, Maria.
Maria?
Sorry, I think we're having trouble hearing you. You want to put her back into the, and then bring her, then promote her again. Try it again. Maria, if you could unmute, hopefully it'll work this time. Unfortunately, we don't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Oh, there you go.
Sorry.
Great. No problem. Go ahead. 2 minutes. I'll ring a bell when you have 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Maria Castellon, and I am a former commissioner on the status of women. I'm here in support of the proposed updates to the Fair Campaign Practice Agreement, particularly the provision requiring written consent before the voters' location information is used in campaigning materials. When we talk about campaign ethics, it's not only about fairness between candidates, it's about community safety. As a survivor of domestic violence, I know how dangerous it can be when personal information becomes public without consent. Names, streets, neighborhoods, and identifying details are not harmless when they are shared without a person's knowledge. This concern was raised after residents publicly shared in social media that they did not know their names and identifying information were being used in campaigning materials. That is why the Women's Commission brought this forward. I understand this agreement is voluntary and not enforceable, but that is exactly why this update matters. It sets a clear public expectation that consent and privacy are part of ethical campaigning in Pasadena. I urge you to adopt these revisions and to recognize that this is not about politics between candidates. It's about protecting residents and respecting their right to control how their information is being used. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lyon, followed by Ms. Rivas.
Thank you, Mayor. I love this, and thanks to the Legislative Policy Committee for working on it, bringing it forward. It took us quite a while to get to the letter from the Commission on the Status of Women. I think it's been like 2 years. That I think is regrettable. But I'm glad we got to it, and I think it's an important issue. It came up, this was one of the, in my first election, this came up in campaign materials of one of my opponents. And it was upsetting for people in the community to see their names listed, particularly if they weren't actually supporters. So I think this is a good way to deal with it. My only question is, this may be for the city attorney, but is there anything that would prevent us from identifying in all city materials that list candidates, which candidates have signed the voluntary pledge? Could we asterisk next and then at the bottom of the page, sign Pasadena's voluntary fair campaign practices agreement?
I'd have to look into that.
Okay.
I'm not certain.
I would actually like to ask that we look into that. So it's the only real T that has, because it's voluntary. And if people don't know that candidates are willing to participate or not, it doesn't do a lot. So it seems in our interest to put out to the public, this is a person who was willing to, this is a person who was not, and then people can do with that what they want. But I would ask if it's okay with the makers of the motion that we add direction to the city attorney to come back with what we can do to, does the clerk have something on this?
I just want to understand, how would we promote that?
Anywhere where the city publishes the name of the candidates, we would asterisk next to the.
We do a notice that is a qualified candidates. We don't generally list who's signed the Fair Campaign Practices Agreement. Where we do list it is on the candidate fact sheet, which is available in the city clerk's office.
I know, people are not going to come do that work, so I know that we don't generally list it, that's why I'm asking, can we? And we would be doing something different. That's what I'm proposing, so I would ask that come back.
Okay. Ms. Rivas, followed by Mr. Madison.
Thank you, Mayor. I am supportive of that as well. It sounds like the list of qualified candidates might be a logical place to do it, but I'd be eager to hear what staff has to say after they think about it a little bit more. I want to thank Chair Madison for bringing this forward through legislative policy. As you say, I think we're well overdue for a tune-up, so this is a good time to do it and right in before this next election cycle. And lastly, I want to thank the Commission on the Status of Women for raising this issue. I think this is exactly how commissions are supposed to work, to raise issues that the council isn't paying attention to, but that are very important. And it fits right into this tune-up of our Fair Campaign Practices Pledge. And I also heard from folks back, and it sounds like it's been an ongoing issue. And so the discussion at Ledge Paul was really, we want to allow people to do whatever they're comfortable with, just make sure everyone's aware of it. So make sure you get written consent and everyone is aware of it. If you want to put your home address on there, by all means, go ahead, but get that person's consent. I doubt anyone would want that, but whatever everyone's aware of and agrees to. And so no one gets taken by surprise. They see their name listed as supporter or with their street. That's what we want to avoid, and that's what residents have been really upset about. So thank you, Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Madison.
Thank you, Mayor. And I want to first apologize to my friend Jen Tebow and also to Ms. Castellon for not highlighting in my initial remarks the seriousness with which we took the input that we got from the Commission on the Status of Women. And we did discuss that. And in mitigation, not defense, perhaps, of the timing, number one, I think we are before the next formal election cycle, at least. So I think we're timely. And number two, we did have a number of discussions, both in the meetings and then with the city clerk. And I really want to extend my gratitude to him because he sort of defines best practices for the entire council. I would say that, this is political speech. And I think it's an extraordinarily special thing about Pasadena and probably part of what we call the Pasadena way, that we even have an agreement like this. And it's very difficult to prevent political candidates from making statements that they think serve them. Fortunately, with one glaring exception that I can think of, the persons that are heavily involved in campaigns in Pasadena, adhere to the Pasadena way and are respectful of not only the other candidates, but community members. I mean, it's politics 101 that you never list anybody as a supporter if you don't both speak to them and have their signature in writing authorizing you to list them as a supporter and defining the contours of that. But again, regrettably, we sort of have to play sometimes to the lowest common denominator. So I think this agreement, which does supersede any authority that we might have to impose limitations on political speech entered into voluntarily by the candidates, it is a great opportunity to address those concerns by the commission. I did have one thing, and I was derelict in not getting this to Mark before the meeting. I think there are two references that I counted, or at least two, to opponents And I think, candidly, that's like the wrong message. I think other qualified candidates might be better than opponents. You know, opponents sort of sets it up like a battle, and I think the whole tenor of this, and frankly, they're wonderful examples probably around this dais. I know, you know, there was a candidate who ran for my seat, and he's one of my commissioners today and a trusted advisor. I know Mr. Massoud and Mr. Hatterline had campaigns that were very forceful, and yet Steve Hatterline serves as Mr. Massoud is commissioner on the Rose Bowl Operating Company, where he does a fabulous job, and that's a real credit to sort of the best aspirations that we have, that we're not running against anybody, we're running for a seat, and so if we would be willing, Mr. Hampton, to make that change too, from opponents to other qualified candidates. My only hesitation there, Mark, is that I know there's this process where you can be a write-in candidate, but you still have to qualify, and I don't know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, I just don't know where they fit into this. So if making that change triggers some other implications, you need to call us on it. But
no, I think the period to qualify as a qualified write-in candidate is almost up to the election day. So it's like in the middle of May, I believe. That's just off the top of my head. But so Mark,
hold on, I'm sorry.
Sure.
So that would mean then that those candidates are not part of this.
I mean, if they sign the agreement and once they qualify, then I would probably notify all the other candidates if everybody's signed the agreement, because that's still necessity that all qualified candidates for that race need to have signed the agreement for there to be sharing of written campaign messaging.
Problem is, since we're extending the time out, and as you say, the time to be a qualified write-in candidate, that might conflict with the whole policy of this. So I think I would prefer that you use language that captures the candidates who qualified in the traditional sense of being, on the ballot as having submitted the requisite number of residents' signatures on petitions and the like. Because I could see those write-in candidates sort of getting in real late and not having the opportunity to really participate in this. And then if their agreement is required, believe me on this, there are people in this city that will try to use that to undo the pledge, which I think would be a bad thing. But that's just my view.
So for, let's say 2B, instead of my opponents, if all qualified candidates in my race and whose name appears on the ballot sign this agreement?
Yes, I would be in favor of that, and I would hope the maker of the motion would be too.
And then for 2C, without first giving written notice to all qualified candidates in my race, should I also add in and whose name appears on the ballot again?
Yes, same caveat. I hope the maker supports that as well, and my colleagues on the council, obviously.
Okay, Mr. Cole?
And sorry, I had one other just quick change in 2B in reference to electronic mail. I was reviewing some of the provisions as I'm getting prepped for the candidate nomination period, which I'll give an announcement after this. For electronic mail, the mass mailing requirement for that is 200 emails or more. So instead of it saying 250, I would just ask that maybe you amend it to say 200 to be in line with the mass mailing requirements put out in the elections code and government code.
Agreeable.
Same.
Okay. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Mark, and thank you again for all your great work on this.
Mr. Cole?
I appreciate the work that the Legislative Policy Committee has done on this. I signed these the 4 times that I've run. Never has it actually resulted in disclosure.
Exactly.
And so I'm appreciative that we're trying to find a tightening of this so that it can be effective. I think we all support that idea. A minor suggestion and then a question. I think texts, mass texts, ought to be included here. That is a form of campaigning that has become part of what we do. And again, maybe over 200 texts. It's a suggestion and simply. But the question is, was consideration given to what the practice is in Los Angeles, which is that that was consideration given that, as in Los Angeles, these postings be given to the city clerk, not to adjudicate, not to et cetera, but that's a transparency that avoids, well, I didn't send this to you, or I did send this to you, or you sent it to me 47 hours instead of 48 hours, and then we get this back and forth. Versus, again, not for you to enforce any of these rules, but simply you get the notifications rather than relying on everybody to send, to, let's say there's 3 candidates in a race, that I notified my 2 other qualified candidates and in a timely fashion. It would be time-stamped at the city clerk. So just a question, was that considered?
I was going to wait for I'll answer no. We didn't talk about the messaging coming in copy to the city clerk.
Well, let's see how this next cycle goes, and maybe that should be a consideration, because I strongly support this. I signed these things in good faith. I assume my opponents signed them in good faith, but the actual mechanics of elections and the mistrust and the way in which politics sometimes supersedes other considerations. I really do want this to succeed, and I appreciate the work that's been done. So maybe we'll see how this all goes, but it usually devolves into finger pointing about who violated the agreement first, and that's why we don't have an agreement.
Yeah, I'm concerned that this is actually taking us in the opposite direction of transparency. One, I strongly disagree with some of the assertions that have been put in the record today. Regarding, a particular candidate who, we know wasn't the preferred candidate for everyone in the room or online. But, the heavy contributions were made to the other candidate by people at this dais and their families. And so I'm concerned that this is being used to cause problems for future candidates. And I think it's being used that way. So I'm concerned about that. I'm also concerned that it'll discourage people from signing, actually, as Mr. Cole points out. Rather than have people sign an agreement, which already is being adhered to, we're now going to have, I believe, fewer and fewer people sign. So it's actually discouraging. And it's making it more difficult for the public to know. I mean, I asked myself, who would support this? I mean, Mayor Bogart did it, I did it. I think most of us have done it, where we list supporters proudly. Mr. Masuda has done it. And those supporters want to be listed because they want to have their voice heard in terms of who's going to be elected. So if someone, for example, is running for citywide office or in their own district, and they've barely gotten elected by 50, 51%, 52%, they want to discourage, or they're running for citywide office and they don't have, the support citywide that they can list and talk about. They want to discourage and make it difficult for someone who wants to run against them or may be interested in running for that same citywide office because they can't list the support. That's my concern, that this is actually being used, one, to make false assertions, two, that it's driven for the wrong reasons and it's going to bring us the incorrect result. I mean, when I ran for mayor, I was able to list people in every part of our city, and people wanted to be listed. Sure, sometimes people change their minds, and that's their right to. And they have the right to say, look, halfway through the campaign, I've listened to the debates, I've seen the mail, and I want to support, or I'm going to vote for the other guy. We've all had, situations where someone who started out as an opponent of our campaigns suddenly ended up as a supporter of our campaigns. That's the nature of political campaigns. And I think making it more difficult for residents by having them have to, somehow agree in writing or otherwise that, they support a candidate. Some people don't want to do that. They say, I always ask people, can I use your name? And they say yes, or they say no. Some of them say, I support you, but I just don't want my name listed publicly. And that's fair. So I think this is we're moving in the direction of regulating elections. And two, I think it's going to be used, and already tonight it was used as, identifying one particular candidate, very thinly veiled accusation, but it was certainly there. The Commission on the Status of Women specifically brought up one candidate. So, let's be careful with that. With that, let's, Mr. Lyon, Mr. Madison, and then we'll call the question.
Thank you, Mayor. Just briefly, I did not expect this to turn into a controversial item. It's just it seemed to me an update on, I wasn't involved in the discussion at legislative policy, but it seemed like a common sense update on a thing we already have, which is the fair campaign practices, just to bring it into the 21st century. On the question of consent, I can't imagine that you're arguing that consent's not important.
No, it is.
It's literally as
absolutely.
simple, though. I also use the name of supporters. I had a whole page of community supporters. It was very long, I'm proud to say.
Absolutely.
Every single one of them, it's as simple as checking a box on anything they fill out for you. Do you want to volunteer? Do you want a yard sign? Can I use your name?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's no administrative burden in doing this, and it's an important, there are certain responsibilities and burdens that come with running for office, and that seems like an important one. If you're going to use someone's name and say, this person's
Absolutely.
in my corner, you should have confirmed consent, both for the protection of the candidate and for the protection of the constituent. So on that, I disagree. As for the background, I have no idea what any of you were talking about the candidate and the person and the thing and the people who gave and didn't give. Don't know anything about that. It's not what's animating my interest in this, but this just seems like a good common sense reform to me on the face.
Confirmed consent is important. It's the, how do you get the confirmed consent? Well, in this case, it would be having them sign something, right? And that's where the burden is, forcing people.
But if they don't want to sign something, they probably don't want you using their name anyway.
That's not been my experience, but I understand your.
That has been mine.
But that in my experience, people will tell you, no, I don't want a yard sign. But thank you, you got my support, and people will say, don't, I don't want to be listed for various reasons. Mr. Madison, followed by Ms. Rivas.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll resist the temptation to speak more about the merits of this. I agree with Councilmember Lyon, but I did not mean anything I said to speak to any candidate. I think everybody on this dais knows that I was referring to a political consultant who doesn't represent the best of our standards in Pasadena. But even that's not directly related, I suppose. So I just want to correct that misimpression that you had if you were in those comments.
Thank you, Mr. Madison.
Thank you, Mayor.
Ms. Rivas.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just to respond to your not so thinly veiled reference to myself. I was driven, and the Legislative Policy Committee was driven purely by best practices. And there may be a most recent example that was irrelevant. Apparently, it's an issue that's been ongoing, and so this was part of a tune-up, and it's a logical update. I think we all agree about consent, and this is just another way to make sure there is clear consent. And as you were saying, if someone doesn't want their name, they're probably not going to sign this, and then it's clear. Both parties are clear. They don't want to have their name out there. You have a record, or you then. If they do want to be out there, you have a record of it. I think it protects everyone and makes it much clearer. So, thank you.
This is not the first time it would have happened, but where we've had these discussions. But I've been around local campaigns in Pasadena specifically for a long time, and sometimes people change their mind, and I've seen it happen in other people's races, and then. Then it's up to the candidate to remove them.
Sure.
And if they don't, it's become an issue in the past where someone says, I've seen it happen virtually in every election cycle. And Mr. Cole, you probably have experienced that too. Not just meaning in your time as a city manager. I mean, not you directly. So we've seen it happen. I fortunately didn't happen to me, but I've seen it happen to others. And in my race, for mayor, the first and second time, things changed. And in the middle of the campaign, people who had been supportive of my opponent suddenly shifted over.
Sure.
And so.
Yeah.
That happens.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But at least, hopefully, you got consent to use. If you use their location, you had gotten their consent, and this wouldn't change any of that practice. So.
Mr. Hampton called the question.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
Let's do that.
it's interesting. Everybody thought you were talking about them. I thought you was talking about me the whole night time.
For the record, I did not think he was talking about me.
I was like, what?
I was talking about you.
Can we call the question?
That's why I was looking at you. Okay, so roll call.
So to approve the Ledge Policy Committee recommendation incorporating the amendments discussed, Councilmember Cole? Yes. Councilmember Hampton? Yes. Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Lyon?
Yes.
Councilmember Madison?
Yes.
Councilmember Masuda?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rivas?
Yes.
Mayor Gordo?
With my comments in the record about my concern, but I'll support it because it is strictly voluntary, and I do believe it's going to go in the other direction. So, but with that caveat, I'll vote yes.
Motion unanimously approved. All right.
All right.
Item 10. It's the last item. It's a ordinance.
Who wants to offer?
It was offered by Mr.
Hampton.
This is an ordinance of the City of Pasadena adding Chapter 2.10 to Article 1 of Title 2 of the Pasadena Municipal Code regarding the City Council vacancy appointment process when a vacancy occurs in a City Council district seat with less than 2 years remaining on an unexpired term. Conduct first reading. Councilmember Cole?
Yes.
Councilmember Hampton? Yes. Councilmember Jones?
Yes.
Councilmember Lyon?
Yes.
Councilmember Madison?
Yes.
Councilmember Masuda?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Rivas?
Yes.
Mayor Gordo?
Yes.
That ordinance was introduced unanimously. And then the last thing, Mayor, I asked if you would mind a quick announcement. The opening of the nomination period for City Council Districts 3, 5, and 7 begins on February 9th, 2026. The City Clerk's Office will host 2 identical candidate workshops, one on February 9th at 8 a.m. here in the City Council Chamber, and the second on Wednesday, February 11th at 4:30 p.m. Here in the City Clerk's Office. Come to room S228. Members of the public can also contact the City Clerk's Office and schedule one-on-one appointments if either of those times or dates are not convenient. The nomination period will run until March 6th, 2026. For more information on the nomination period and elections, you can call the City Clerk's Office at 626-744-4124 or email the City Clerk at cityclerk, one word, at cityofpasadena.net. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. And we'll look forward to those elections being conducted professionally and civilly and effectively.
I have no doubt that the elections will be conducted professionally because of Mr. Jobski. I'm not sure about the campaigns.
Yeah, true.
Which is not a reference to any specific
Yeah. Well, yeah. No, of course not. Of course not. So, no, I.
Stipulated, as you lawyers would say.
Yeah. I wanted to, before we adjourn in memory, I would like to thank all of you for attending and participating. Ms. Rivas, in the State of the City, thank you. Mr. Jones, you were there. Mr. Hampton, thank you. Mr. Masuda, Mr. Cole, and Mr. Lyon, I was pleased. It's an important matter for the city to hear an update to our finances, to everything that's gone on over the past year. And I think it's helpful for them to see the council working together. And thank you to the staff for pulling it off technically. And thank you to Vanya, Araceli, and Jana for contributing greatly, including to the remarks themselves. Jana did a great job, as did Matt Hawksworth. Jana and Matt Hawksworth deserve a lot of the credit in preparing and assisted me to prepare for that presentation. So I wish I could take credit for it, but 100%, but we work as a team, staff, council, and so each of you that participated helped make it a success, and I thank you. And to the public who attended as well. Okay, with that, let's stand and adjourn in memory of our friend, resident, and contributor to the quality of life in Pasadena for its residents, Marguerite Bogar, also the sister of Beverly Bogar, and the Bogar family is a longtime family in Pasadena, contributing greatly